Awesome. It was a pretty good turnout, I think. Can everyone hear me all right? I'm using a new mic that I'm trying out, so...
Yeah.
Good.
All right, great. So I'm just gonna do a little introduction. My name's Balgiri. I've played Elementalist since launch, South of Heaven. I'm gonna go over mostly the Dagger build that I run. This build is great. It has high mobility, a lot of great survivability, good party buffs, some decent control, and it's just a fun build to play. I really like it. Also, as I'm going along, just feel free to ask questions. Either shout them out, in chat, whisper me if you want, or just say it in TS. I don't want to be, talking the whole time. I want this to be an interactive thing. Okay. First, I'm going to go over the traits I run for my Dagger build. I start out with 15 in air magic, 25 in water, and 30 in arcana. For air magic, I take the 1, which is Zephyr's Boon. Ours grant Fury and Swiftness when applied. This is a really powerful skill because you have 2 auras in your weapon sets, and Fury is a really great boon to have. And then I take 15 in air magic because I really like electric discharge. This strikes a bolt of lightning when you're tuned to air.
Just so I could cut you off, you kind of have 3. Third one's harder to get.
I'm sorry?
You kind of have 3 auras in your set.
I can move mountains.
You have 2 auras. You have...
This is the 3rd aura. Just Ring of Fire plus Magnetic Grasp. You'll
right.
combo in tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to get to that when I go to the weapon sets. But you have 2 just regular weapon set armors without comboing. Frost Aura and Shocking Aura. So back to the air magic 15. I really like this skill. It has 900 range, and it's just great for burst damage, and it's good to have a ranged attack when someone's right away from you. I take 25 in water. My 10th slot is Cleansing Wave. Remove a condition from you and your allies when tuned to water. This is a really good it's a really good condition removal on attunement swap. And then 15 Healing Ripple is nice. It's another heal when you attune to water. And then in the 20 slot, you have 2 options in my opinion. I take Cantrip Mastery. Cantrips recharge 20% faster. I use 3 cantrips for my utilities, so this is just an all-around good thing to have. Your other option is the fall damage trait, number 8. This is just good for general World v World, running around. If you get in a tight situation, you need to take a fall, you can switch to this and you'll be good to go. And then 25, 2% more damage for each boon on you. This is very, very powerful. Just general fighting, I usually have 5 or 6 boons on me without even thinking about it. And so this will give you 10 to 12% more power on average throughout a typical fight. If you're just joining, we're in Harder Than This. Bring 2 daggers and a staff. I'm just going over the traits I run now.
Might makes me right.
So for Arcana, I run 5, which is Elemental Attunement. This gives you a different boon for each time you swap attunements. 20, I take Renewing Stamina. This grants Vigor on critical hit. And you're going to crit a lot because you have almost Fury total uptime throughout a fight. because of Arcane Fury. Grant yourself 2 seconds of Fury on attunement swap, and you'll be attunement swapping a lot throughout a fight, and so your Fury uptime is going to be pretty big, and therefore your Vigor uptime is going to be pretty large. And then last but certainly not least is Evasive Arcana. This is kind of the end-all for Elementalists in my opinion. It's hard to find a really good Elementalist build that doesn't utilize this in some way. Once you get used to it, it's kind of hard to, wean yourself off of it. It's just such a powerful skill. So when you dodge and fire, you cause burning and deal damage to a foe. When you dodge in water, you heal yourself or remove a condition. In air, you blind nearby foes. And in earth, you cripple, bleed, damage foes. And your earth dodge is also a blast finisher, which is great for stacking might or dodging into a water field for area healing or any other combo really.
Wait, what was the 20 slot?
20 slot is number 6, renewing stamina.
Okay.
Vigor on critical hits. And this synergizes well with Evasive Arcana. You have Vigor almost up all the time, and then which allows you to dodge more, which allows you to take advantage of Evasive Arcana more. So does anyone have any questions about traits? Why I chose what I did and why I didn't choose something? A lot of times you'll see people, let's see. Oh, the 10 slot for air, I chose 1, which is Zephyr's Boon. And someone asked what I use for water 30. It's a good question. I don't take 30 in water. I think the extra 15 in air for electric discharge is very good skill. It gives you more precision and critical damage which is great. A lot of people take 30 in water for either the 11 skill, which is Cleansing Water, remove a condition when you grant regeneration to yourself or an ally. Essentially, that's just another condition removal when you attune to water. And then some people take Powerful Aura, which auras are applied to nearby allies. So whenever you use your Frost Aura or your Shocking Aura, it would apply to a nearby ally. I personally don't use either of those. I feel Powerful Auras is a little gimmicky to me. I don't really know when it'd be necessary to, give auras to my allies in certain situations. I just feel like it's kind of a niche skill that I wouldn't utilize very often.
Feel the fury.
So any other questions about that? Alright, I'll move on to my healing and utility skills. For the heal, I take Signet of Restoration. This is a very, very good heal because I never use the actual active. I always keep up the passive because it's such a powerful passive. I run around 500 healing power in my build, which gives about 250 healing per skill. When you're just running around, dealing damage, doing pressure, you'll have, for the most part, good uptime on how much you'll get healing. It's just a great passive, and I find it hard to be useful with it gone. Now I'll show kind of how to heal yourself up in a tight situation later using combos in water that you can use. So to give yourself a good burst heal, but I never really use the active heal in the healing skill. Yes, that's a good question. Attunement swap is considered a skill, and so you heal yourself when you attunement swap as well. Also, I believe your utilities are counted as a skill. Yes, that's a good point. It does also hurt you on confusion. I believe your cantrips are counted as a skill, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Speaking of cantrips, I use Mistform, Armor of Earth, and Lightning Flash. All these are good in different reasons. I use them mostly defensively, although they can be used offensively. For instance, you can use Armor of Earth when spiking someone in order to ensure that it gets off, unless they're an ally that can move, or a thief or a mesmer that can move when you're down. So it's good for 5 out of the 8 classes. The same thing also applies for Mistform. You can hit your spike and then hit Mistform in order to be invulnerable while you're spiking. One thing to note is that you cannot hit Mistform and then try to spike. It won't work. You have to spike and then Mistform. And then Lightning Flash. I'll show a couple ways to use this offensively later on when I'm going over weapon skills and combos. But this is just a great skill to have for distancing yourself or getting closer to an ally or enemy or anything like that. And then for elite, I use Glyph of Elementals. I really like this elite. Some people use Fiery Greatsword, which I think is a little, I don't know, I find it hard to use it in, the heat of battle. So I take Glyph of Elementals. The Fire Elemental, as you can see, it deals fire damage and also evades attacks. The Ice Elemental deals damage and has a really good heal. The Ice Elemental heal hits for about 6.5k healing, and it procs, I think, twice while the Elemental's up. The Air Elemental deal damages, stuns, and grants swiftness. And then the Earth Elemental deals damage and is very hard to kill. I use the Earth Elemental a lot when I'm soloing supply camps. I aggro all the guards and have the Earth Elemental take damage while I do AoE to the guards. And it's pretty effective. So are there any questions on utility, healing, or elite skills?
Oh, it's on now.
You'll see some people take, instead of Signet of Restoration, they take Ether Renewal, but I don't like Ether Renewal that much. It's a 3.5 second heal, which I think is too long to be out of a fight. And it cures conditions, which is nice, but I think you have decent condition removal as it is. And I find it hard to get away from the passive heal of Signet of Restoration. Now I'm going to go over kind of my theory on gearing and sigils, runes, and food buffs. I guess I'll start with runes. The key behind what I do for runes is I use 2 runes of water, 2 runes of the monk, and then the other 2 are kind of up to you. Water and monk are pretty much necessary, in my opinion. They give you healing and boon duration. So each one gives you 50% boon duration, and added to the 30% boon duration you have from your traits, it's a total of 60% boon duration. And you have, multiple ways of giving yourself boons via weapon skills, attunement swaps, cantrips, things like that. And so it's great defensively and offensively with stacking might. I'll get to that later. So 2 water, 2 monk, and then the other 2, I recommend divinity, although if you're on a budget, I wouldn't, drop 9.5 gold for a divinity rune just to have it.
What about 2 fire for the last 2? Because then you get 20% more might duration.
Right. That is a decent. Might duration's good, especially because I run
User disconnected from your channel.
Runes of Battle, Sigil of Battle. But I like to have critical damage in these other two. So I take Barrel Orbs. It gives me power, vitality, and critical damage. You can use Ruby Orbs, power, precision, critical damage, or you can use minor Runes of Divinity, which give you the same amount of critical damage, but you get 10 less of each other stat.
Refreshing.
So for my sigils, I use, there's really two ways you can go for sigils. One of your sigils is going to be either, or what I recommend is stacking power, stacking precision, or
Replenishing.
you can just use superior force, which is 5% damage. The other one, we want to use either superior sigil of energy, which gives you 50% endurance on attunement swap,
User disconnected from your channel.
or superior sigil of battle, which gives you 3 stacks of might for 20 seconds on attunement swap. Now, one thing you do not want to do is take both of them. They do not stack. So if you addition, so you can't get energy and battle on attunement swap. Yeah, the energy, I think it has a 9-second internal cooldown, and battle, I believe, is 10-second. It's one of those two. So usually the energy will proc, but not both. So you want one of the other. I like battle
User
for
disconnected
might
from your
stacks,
channel.
but it's up to you. And then for food, you have a couple choices. I run one of these three. I'll link them real quick.
Might makes me right.
User disconnected from your channel.
I run any of these three. I like, my
Replenishing.
go-to is probably the Orient Truffle and Meat Stew. It gives you might when you dodge, and it refills your endurance faster. So you can dodge more. You'll have Vigor up permanently throughout fights. And the Omnom Berry Pies are good. They steal life on a critical, and you'll be creating a lot because of Fury. And then Mango Pies are good for passive heal and low vitality. One other thing to note is on the runes. You can buy the Runes of Water, and you can buy all the other runes. But if you want Runes of Monk, you have to farm Escalonian Catacombs. They are account bound, and they are not tradable, so you cannot find them on the trading post. I recommend farming that. It'll take you maybe a week minimum to get just 2 runes, and it'll be worth it. So any questions on kind of the intangibles, the runes, sigils, and food? Okay, I'll just touch on real quick kind of my theory on gearing, what stats I take. Armor, I usually go defensive. Either I run a mix of power, toughness, healing power, and power, toughness, vitality. A lot of people just run power, toughness, vitality, or power, precision, toughness. and they ignore healing power.
I summon the
Um,
power of the storm.
I really don't think you should ignore healing power. You have so many heals. You have passive heals, you have heals on dodge, and you have 2 skills in your water set that can heal you. So I really like to take healing power. And then for trinkets, I go offensive. I either go Berserkers or Celestial. Celestial's good because you kind of need everything as an Elementalist. And by need everything, I mean need everything besides condition damage. I do not take anything that has condition damage because it kind of pigeonholes you as an Elementalist. Burning will hurt with a lot of condition damage, and bleeding will do decent damage, but those stats are better spent elsewhere in either power or toughness or precision. And you don't have anything that uses condition damage in either your water or air attunements. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the weapon skills for Dagger. We're going to come over to these golems over here so I can kind of show you some things. By the way, does anyone have any questions on the gearing? I get a lot of questions about that. It's probably kind of the most common thing people ask.
Probably best just to, you don't have your gear on you and you didn't set it up for PV.
Might be able to link it here. Hold on.
So you just press up enough and you'll be able to get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'll link my gear that I run. Again, it's not, I wouldn't call it perfect, but it's kind of just what I do.
Well, that didn't work.
Oh, you can't see it. Alright, we'll probably be going into WvW after this if you want, so I can link it then when we're not in Harbiness. So for weapon skills, for fire, the auto attack,
User disconnected from your
Dragon's
channel.
Claw. This is one of the better auto attacks. It emits 3 things, and so all 3 of them hit one target when you're up close. But as you get farther away, less and less hit, and you deal less damage. Next is Drake's Breath. This is a good, this is actually pretty good damage, and it burns foes. I like this because it's a long burn, and it combos well with Fire Grab, which I'll get to. The next is Burning Speed, which is a 600 range kind of run, and it's very good damage, especially if you get someone up against like a wall and you use it against him, so they get hit by kind of the middle and the end of it, and it burns for 1 second, which is nice. Oh, it's also a fire field, you can combo off that, which I'll get to a little later. Ring of Fire is also a decent skill. One thing to note is that it doesn't burn enemies inside the ring. It only burns them when they cross the ring. So I use it on this medium golem, but he's not burning because he's not crossing the Ring of Fire. Last but not least is Fire Grab. As an Elementalist, you don't have a lot of bursty skills, but this is what I consider being one of your best damage dealers. It has a long cooldown of 45 seconds, so I'd only use it when your target is burning. It deals more damage to burning foes. So a couple things I like to do just in fire, not switching to any other attunements, is I start with Burning Speed and then Fire Grab immediately after. This is a little tricky to land because Burning Speed only has 1 second of burning, But if you cast your 5 skill while you are in the middle of burning speed, it'll be used immediately after. So on this light golem, I'll use burning speed and then fire grab.
Feel the fires of Balthazar.
Except I missed that time. But the idea is, you know, you get close to your target, burn them, and then fire grab. Another thing to do is use Drake's Breath for about half a second and then fire grab. This will burn your target for long enough, and then you can fire grab. Also, your dodge on fire will burn your foe, and so you can dodge into someone, and then they'll be burning, and you can fire grab. So that's fire attunement, lots of damage, lots of burning. This is going to be probably your main damage dealing attunement, so use it wisely. Now onto water. The one skill, probably the weakest of your auto attacks, but it does have the longest range, and it will hit a foe twice. It'll go through them and then back through them again. And the vulnerability is nice, but you know, it's still the weakest auto attack you have. Cone of Cold, 2 skill, it's an average damage, but pretty good healing. It'll heal you for about maybe 1,000, depending on how much healing power you run, which is pretty nice. I use this mostly for just healing. I hardly ever try and deal damage with my foe unless they're already in range of me. Frozen Burst, this is a pretty good skill. It's a 4th second cast time, which is pretty low, and a 3-second chill, which is good, especially when I'm trying to get away from people or trying to slow them down. Frost Aura, I really like this skill, although it has a 40-second cooldown. With your 1 Zephyr's Boon trait in air, this will give you Fury and Swiftness for about 8 seconds, depending on how much boon duration you have. And it'll chill foes that attack you, and it will also reduce incoming damage by 10%. So I like to use this, well actually, sure, I'll use it in a second. And then last is your 5 skill, Cleansing Wave. This is a powerful heal, heals for about 2k, and cures a condition. It does have a 40-second cooldown, which is kind of high, so use it wisely. Use it to clear conditions that you know are damaging to you, such as high stacks of bleeding, high stacks of confusion, poison, that's a big one, and immobilize. So if everyone can come with me real quick. One thing I like to do in water is kind of perform a healing combo. So I'm gonna show you that. Like I said earlier, I rarely use my active healing ability. So I like to kind of do this combo instead and keep my passive up. So I'm going to attack Svanir, real quick. And then he's going to get me down to half health or so, and then I'm going to show you how I kind of heal up after that. So he's going to be down, I switch to water, dodge, use Cone of Cold, and then Cleansing Wave. So through all that, it's a pretty good heal. It'll heal you for about 9-10k if you do it right. The healing skills in SPVP are actually less than what they are in World v World. There's a bit of a debuff here. So your heals are more powerful in World v World. So again, what I did there is I switched to water, which is a heal because of the 15 trait.
Time to do some real
I
damage.
dodge in water, which is a heal because of Evasive Arcana. I use Cone of Cold, which is a heal, and then if I need to, I use Cleansing Wave. All the while, you get regeneration from Attuned to Water. You have Soothing Mist, which will regenerate health, and you have your passive heal from your healing skill. So if you guys want to try that, go and attack Chieftain or any of these guards over here. See if you can heal yourself up without using your active heal skill. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I just joined. Where are you guys?
We are on Balin's Pin, over by like the Lord Caster area, by Svanir.
Alright.
River and ocean.
Alright, so is everyone kind of comfortable with how to heal yourself up without using your active heal, using that combo? Alright, sounds good. We're going to attune to air now, and I'll go over those weapon skills. Let's see. 1, Lightning Whip. It's a really cool skill. I like this a lot. It'll hit your foe twice when you use it, and it's one of the more powerful auto attacks. If I'm going to auto attack in any attunement, I'm going to auto attack in air. This is actually a good AoE skill too. It'll hit foes around you, and it's just a powerful skill. Next one, Lightning Touch. Shock your foe and inflict weakness. Weakness is an interesting condition. Minus 50% endurance regeneration, and Fumble, which is 50% of attacks aren't critical will be glancing. So it kind of makes your foe deal less damage, which is good for your survivability. Then we have Shocking Aura, my personal favorite aura. Again, you get Fury and Swiftness from your traits, and this will stun an attacker when they attack you in melee range. I use this a lot to counter big melee spike attacks, like 100 Blades Warrior, or the Great Sword on the Guardian, or yes, AP. A lot of times people will try and backstab or Heartseeker, and this is a really great counter. They'll be stunned. Thieves don't really have stability to, make sure this doesn't hit. So if you find yourself dying to a thief, switch to arrow, use Shocking Aura. Next, and everyone's favorite skill, is Ride the Lightning. This is one of the most up and down skills of the Elementalist. It used to be really powerful, and then it got less powerful, and then it got even less powerful. But to be honest, I really like the change they made with it. I think it gives Elementalists more of a purpose, and they kind of have to know what they're doing more in order to use this correctly. So there's one tip I want to show you with this. If you could all come over by me. So I need a volunteer for this.
Replenishing.
So anyone up? Okay. Christian, if you could stand where I am, exactly where I am, and everyone else kind of get back a little bit so you can see. So can you target the light golem for me, Christian? And you'll see that you are actually out of range for Ride the Lightning now. You have a red bar under that skill, right? Okay, so try and use Ride the Lightning, and then don't move when you stop on that target golem. Okay, see how you landed short and you didn't hit him with Ride the Lightning? Right? And so it's on a 40-second cooldown, right? Okay. Now, here's a tip from the exact same spot where you can hit that golem. The thing is, you jump, and then at the top of your jump, use Ride the Lightning. Yes. This will give you an extra few meters on your jump and allows you to hit the target from here. So I'll show that. So I hit this target, got a little closer, and now I have a 20-second cooldown instead of a 40-second cooldown. Now you may be thinking, you know, that's not a very big difference. It's only a few feet, but it can be the difference between either hitting the target and having the cooldown be reduced by 20 seconds or dying. And just kind of the thing I do is always jump and then Ride the Lightning, and then you're not thinking about it, you know. You're not like, oh, should I jump in this situation? Should I not? Just always jump. It's never going to hurt. It'll give you that extra distance, and it's a very useful tip. Yes, and you can also leap over distances with it. I actually had the time on the Borderlands jumping puzzle using Ride the Lightning, so that's, you know, another thing that is good for. And so next we have Updraft. This will launch your foe, gives you an evade, and grants swiftness. I like this skill a lot. I use it more defensively than offensively, I'd say. I use it a lot when people are trying to spike someone. I Ride the Lightning to them, then Updraft, and then heal. But Ride the Lightning and Updraft is a decent opener. I'm not sure I'd recommend it all the time, but it's still pretty good.
Nothing can bring me down.
So you could Ride the Lightning, Updraft, and then hit some of your burst damage skills while the foe is knocked down. The thing I dislike about this is it's very predictable. Everyone knows, right, everyone tends to dodge right after Ride the Lightning, or they dodge while you're casting Ride the Lightning, and if someone dodges out of it, you don't hit, which means it's another 20 seconds on the cooldown. So part of the reason I don't always initiate with that combo. And another thing, if you're fighting a Guardian, when they have Aegis up to begin with, if you try to Ride the Lightning to them, they'll block it, and it'll have a 40-second cooldown instead of 20. And then another thing that I kind of forgot to mention was, again, the 15 skill, or the 15 trait for your air that I really like to run, the electric discharge. I think it's a really good skill. It has good range, 900. So if someone's fleeing from you and you kind of have all your movement skills out, you just need to get them down. I really like to switch into air and hit them with that. And also, it just helps your overall spike damage. So that's air attunement for the most part. So now we'll switch to earth.
I am rock and soil.
the one skill, your auto attack. I think this is my least favorite auto attack because it's purely single target. There is no AoE damage to it. Even if foes are close to the target, it'll only hit one. Which I dislike because in small group fights, people are clustered together, especially with when you're in camps with veterans or stuff like that. And I also don't take a lot of condition damage, so the bleeding doesn't really affect too much. Ring of Earth, I like this skill for the 3-second cripple, and it's actually a decent damage doer too. Yeah. Bleeding, you know, it's just iced on the cake. I don't really use it for that, but it's good AoE damage, and it's good for people trying to run away with cripple. So the 3 skill, Magnetic Grasp. This is one I like to use. Well, this is actually 2 skills of one. It's Magnetic Grasp and Magnetic Leap. So you cast Magnetic Grasp, and if it hits, you get a skill that will allow you to jump towards your target, as Amber showed right there. There's one kind of cool thing I want to show this, like a combo you can do with this skill. So I like to stand back here, and say you have this target like golem is running away from me, where the lightning's down, I can't get to him. One thing you can do is cast Magnetic Grasp and the lightning flash toward him while casting. So this will effectively give you an 1800 range immobilize and a leap to go along with it. So it kind of looks like this. See, I covered a large distance there while immobilizing him, and then leaped to close the gap. A trick is to cast Magnetic Grasp, then then Lightning Flash, while the projectile is being tossed. Yeah, I will show that again. This is kind of something I actually found out just coming around here and messing with it. I've used it in WvW since, and I actually like it a lot. So I target this light golem, I'll cast Magnetic Grasp and Lightning Flash towards the golem, and then I'll leap to him. As such. So feel free to practice that. Yeah, it takes some getting used to. Just cast Lightning Flash right after you hit 3, don't wait. The skill will still channel and you'll still hit the projectile. Another thing about this skill is I don't always use the leap. I find it a little gimmicky, or not gimmicky, a little like buggy. Yeah, there's a kind of a bit of delay on the leap. I think if you switch to fire and use your burning speed, it's a lot better closer when your foe's immobilized. And I just use the immobilize sometimes to keep people out of a ring when I'm, capping supply camps or guards or something. So you don't have to use the leap at all. One thing that's good about the leap is it's a combo finisher, and if you do a leap in a fire field, it'll give you fire shield, yes, which is might and burning. A tip for the lightning flash, if you have fast casting on, it works a lot better. If you're still using where you press lightning flash and you run around with a circle, I don't like that. I think it's too slow, and it's really hard to hit your target that way. I used to use not fast casting, and I kind of weaned myself off of it because just fast casting is so much more fluid, and it can make a difference in a fight. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, on Ride the Lightning, you want to turn auto target off, because when you're trying to Ride the Lightning away from a foe, if you have auto target on, you're just going to go straight back to them. So, yeah. Auto target off, it's just a good all-around kind of thing to have, I think. Yeah, if you're fighting a Zerg and you need to run away, if you go back into him, you're gonna die. So there's that. So moving on to the 4 and 5 of Earth. Earthquake is a 2-second knockdown and a blast finisher. This is good for AoE knockdown. There aren't a lot of AoE controls in this game, and so this is really great for that. And it's also a blast finisher, which is nice. And then Churning Earth. This is kind of where the good Ellies differ from the great Ellies, in my opinion. If you can land Churning Earth in a battle, it'll turn the tides of it greatly, and usually you'll come out as the victor. This is a 3 and a 4th second channel skill, and you are grounded for that time. You cannot move while channeling this, except for Lightning Flash, I'll kind of get to. This is a very hard skill to land in like 1v1 situations or small groups, especially if you're kind of the target in the group. So I'll show you kind of a few tips on how to land this and how I use it in a couple ways. So when I'm kind of running into a fight, I usually open up with some moves. Say I'm taking some damage here a bit, I need to get out. My group moves in to kind of damage. I cast Churning Earth back here, and then I can Lightning Flash back into the group of enemies. That's kind of one way to do it. This also works with foes who are fleeing. If you cast Churning Earth, you can use Lightning Flash to teleport to them and hit them. Another thing is to use Armor of Earth while channeling. This will prevent anyone from using knockbacks or stuns or anything like that while you're channeling, which is nice. But the thing I really want to get to when using Churning Earth is attunement swapping while you are channeling. I do this for a couple of reasons. One is it'll grant you Fury when you attunement swap, which will give a 20% more crit chance, and it'll give you another boon, which will give you 2% more damage. So I cast it, I switch to Fire, I have a higher crit chance, and now I have Might to go along with it. I like that a lot. I rarely ever stay in Earth Attunement when I finish this combo. It's really good if you are blinded. You can cast Churning Earth, switch to Water Attunement to cure a condition, and make sure it hits. Or you can do some extra spike damage and remove the blind if you are blinded by switching into Air, because you have the Electric Discharge skill. So instead of having your Churning Earth being blinded and missing, your Electric Discharge misses, but the Churning Earth will hit. So that's kind of what I want to get to on weapon skills. Does anyone have any questions about weapon skills? What does what, kind of when to use certain skills, anything like that? Alright then. Great. So I'll move on to, I just want to touch on a few cross attunement combos that you can do. You have 20 weapon skills There are so many combos you can do within them, but I'll just highlight a few of the main ones. One of the very common ones is might stacking. This is used by either Burning Speed or Ring of Fire for a might field, and then switching into Earth, dodging, which will give you a blast finisher, and then your 4 and 5, which are also blast finishers. It's kind of like this. So as you can see there, I buffed up myself to 15 stacks of might. Part of that was because of Superior Stable Battle, but the combos itself will give you 9 stacks of might, I believe, with 3 blast finishers and a fire field. So that's something that's really good. It'll also give might to your party. So it's an all-around good damage buff to your allies. Another thing that I kind of touched on earlier is using the magnetic leap in a fire field that'll give you fire aura. So I'll use that here. So right now I have fire aura on, which grants might to you when you get attacked and also burns foes. And since it's an aura, fire shield, I guess, sorry. That's the technical name. But this will also,
I could outrun a centaur.
sorry, this will also trigger Fury and Swiftness because of your one trait. One thing about Evasive Arcana, I guess I forgot to touch on, it only works when you're in combat, not out of combat. So if you're dodging and stuff isn't triggering, if you're out of combat, it doesn't work. Also, each spell on Evasive Arcana is a 10-second cooldown, so basically every time you switch attunements, it should be up by the time you dodge roll, which is nice. So like I said, there are so many combos using your weapon skills, some of your cantrips. I learned the Magnetic Grasp Lightning Flash combo just by coming out here and testing. So I encourage you to do the same and come up with your own that you really like to use. So now I'm going to go over just some general tips and tricks for Dagger that I've picked up along the way. And kind of just general Elementalist tricks too, I guess. A lot of people, when they're beginning, have trouble managing their cooldowns. You have 20 skills. It's a lot of cooldowns to remember. Tip I like to use is your 2 skill will always be up when you swap attunements, because it has just about the same cooldown as your actual attunement swap. So it's always nice to switch into fire and know I can use Drake's Breath. I can't say that about the other 3 skills. So that's nice to use, and also you don't have to worry about burning that cooldown for another time when you're in that attunement. Let's see. Also, a lot of people get into this phase where they will use all their cooldowns. They figured out how to use them. They're doing Ride the Lightning updraft, using all their 4 and 5 skills. Just remember to auto attack. A lot of people overlook this. You have so many good skills that aren't auto attack, and a lot of times people just don't take the time to auto attack. Like your auto attack in air, it'll do more damage than your 2 skill and Ride the Lightning, because Ride the Lightning hits once, but your Lightning Whip will hit twice. And so that's kind of just something that not a lot of people do. They like to just use all their cooldowns just save them for when you know, you really need them. So my kind of this build is really good for like small group stuff, either running around solo or like 5-on-5 or less like gameplay. So the thing I like to do, just kind of in a 5v5 situation in my role, I like to really initiate the fight. I'll go in, do some damage, dodge around, try and get people to attack me, because I know I have enough dodge, enough, you know, defensive skills that I can withstand it, and really initiate my team into the fight. If I feel I'm getting low, I can just kind of flash out, heal up a bit if I need to, and then get right back in the fray. This is kind of my theory on what you should be doing as a Dagger Elementalist. You're not going to be staying in the back, you know, just chilling here like a Staff Elementalist might. You're going to be right up in the enemy's face, you know, doing damage. Yes, very aggressive. You really want to keep up the pressure. The more times you attack, the more you heal. And the more you heal, the more you can sustain damage. And it's just it's a cycle, really. You know, the more you damage, the more you heal, kind of thing. So, let's see. So, I just want to go over two things real quick about the downstate. Elementalists have the best downstate, in my opinion, because of the 2-skill Vapor Form. This allows you to move while you're down, which is something not a lot of classes can do, but there are cool things you can do with them. One thing that I like to do just in the open, I got downed like in a fight, and I'm trying to rally. I always try and misform to a nearby like Moa or Jaguar or some other you know, different animal, and then most of the time people will AoE on me, and if that Moa or Jaguar dies, I can rally off it and try and get out of the fight again. I've used this a number of times, just running around trying to stay alive, and it's actually a really useful tool, not only for Elementalists, but if you know you're going down in any class, you can do that. One of the most common uses of the Vapor Form is getting back into towers when you die. Everyone's seen this, everyone's gotten pissed off at another Elementalist doing this, but it's a really great tip. Use it a lot. And then finally, my favorite tip for this is a lot of times when I'm facing Zerg, I kind of want to, you know, piss people off a bit. I switch to my Elite 2 Tornado and try and get them into a point where they are near an edge or a cliff, especially if they're taking a tower or keep, like hills, where there's that bridge where people fall off a lot. I use Tornado, try and knock as many people off. The bad thing about Tornado is it makes you an instant target, and you actually don't get affected by the passive healing that you have. So this is a really last-ditch effort skill, but I use it when I know I'm going to die, I'm going to have to reset, just waypoint back. So I use this, try to knock people off, and then I'll get downed within, you know, 5 or 6 seconds. Yes, using Armor of Earth will get you protection, which is nice, but you'll have stability already from Tornado. But when you get down using this, you'll be near a cliff, and you can just Vapor Form off of the cliff. This will actually make it so you don't have armor repairs. It'll count as fall damage and not actually dying from enemies. So you won't have to repair your armor, and your enemies don't get loot bags. So that's kind of something I like to do. If I know I'm gonna die, I'll go into a fight near a cliff and misform off when I get downed. They do get loot even if you jump. That's true for when you jump when you're like in combat jumping off a cliff. Right. You've done that because they were in combat with you, but like if you ever have SPVP'd with an Elementalist and you misform, you'll see on the like kill bar screen that like Bulgari was killed by this form, right? That's kind of the same thing here. I believe that if someone uses Vapor Form off a cliff, since you don't have armor repair, it's counted as fall damage, which means that they don't get loot. Or at least that's how I've always thought of it. Alright, so now, if anyone has any questions about general Dagger gameplay, or anything we've gone over, regards to daggers, please speak up now. I'll go over into, I just want to show you like 2 things with staff real quick, and then we can kind of wrap this up. So any questions at all about daggers?
Element of fire.
Okay, doesn't look like anyone has
Obey
any
me.
questions. So one thing I do with when I'm in World is I always take staff with me. Staffs are great for bigger fights, especially when you're either defending or attacking a keep, and you need to get down oil or cannons or people on the wall. And so a lot of times I'll get out of combat, go into my inventory, switch into staff. And then I will switch up my traits a bit. I'll show you what I do. You don't have to go back and retrain your traits. I'll just show you which ones I switch out for what. In 20, take Blasting Staff instead of renewing stamina. This makes staff attacks larger and essentially twice as effective. You'll hit more people, do more damage, all of that. If you're in a pinch, you can just switch this out, although I kind of like to take, instead of 1 in air magic, I take 5 precision converted to healing. Since a lot of times when I switch to staff, people call for water fields on the rams, and so I like to have an extra healing. And I don't need the Fury or Swiftness on the aura, because I only have 1 aura in this weapon set. And then, if you want, you can switch out Arcane Abatement for Cantrip Mastery, or you can switch out the 1 skill, which is Water Skills Recharge 20% faster. I personally like the recharge on Water Skills because so many people want Water Fields now because blast finishers are so strong and area healing, especially when you're attacking keep. You want to put heals on the rams. And then I always switch Armor of Earth out for Arcane Wave, just so I have another blast finisher in my arsenal. You still have the dodge, roll, and earth as a blast finisher, but I really like Arcane Wave just as an instant blast if I either want might or healing or swiftness or anything. So that's kind of when I use staff, attacking large keeps or defending. But I will also show you kind of something I use just when I'm running around to do it. So when I see a Doliac, I like to do this combo that gives about 50 seconds of swiftness using blast finishers. So let's just say Amber here is my Doliac. She's run along, she's moving pretty slowly, and I want to speed her up a bit. I'll cast 2 skill and Earth Eruption, put a lightning field over it, cast my Arcane Wave, and my Windborne Speed, and that'll give about 50 seconds of swiftness. So I'll show that here. And so now Amber has lots of swiftness. There's also good lightning field, or static field, whatever. It's a lightning combo field, and the blast finishers give area swiftness, which is great just for moving around. A lot of times when I run around with commanders, they ask for swiftness, and this is what they mean by that. Put down a static field, a lot of people blast into it, and you'll have a lot amount of swiftness. So you can try that combo on your own. Yes, Tearless absolutely loves it. I run around with him a lot, and when I'm not there, he always tells me the next day, you know, why weren't you here? We need someone with swiftness. So that's kind of how I get in his good side, give him swiftness all the time.
Replenishing.
So everyone kind of stack up on me. I want to try this. I want to get everyone to do that combo at the same time, and I want to see how much swiftness we can actually do. So again, the combo is cast Eruption, switch to everyone start on Earth. Start on Earth first. We're doing swiftness. That kid. Anyway, we're going to see how much swiftness we can stack. So we're gonna cast 2 in Earth, switch to Air, Static Field, Windboard Speed, and use your Arcane Wave Blast Finisher.
Feel the fury.
And so on my cue, we will start. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, go, and we'll go. 1, 2, 3, go.
I begin. I summon the power of the storm.
It looks like it caps at about a minute 30 or 2 minutes.
I got a minute 35.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I've gone up to 2 minutes
This will have to get
before,
much harder.
but I'm sure there's some sort of cap, so there's not infinite swiftness running around.
Does it matter where you are in the static field?
No, you can be in it or nearby it, I think.
I am mighty.
I don't think it matters where you are in the stack field. Alright, so that basically concludes my little deal today. If there's any further questions, please ask. So I'll open it up. Just anything about Elementalists in general, staff, daggers, scepter focus, if you really want to talk about that, anything.
For daggers, are you gonna go? Do you think knights would work? Like knight's armor?
Yes, it's not bad. I definitely like power, precision, and toughness, but I really like using healing power. A lot of people ignore healing power, which for an Elementalist I don't think is really good. I think you need healing power to be effective. So I wouldn't recommend going all power, precision, toughness. But that's just, you know, how I play, my opinion. It's definitely not a bad set to run.
I'll second your opinion because I started in all Knight's armor, and when I made that switch into clerics, my survivability, my overall damage output went up just because I didn't have to run away. I was just constantly healing myself
Right.
up full.
Exactly. That's kind of why I run a lot of healing power. Also, one thing is don't overstack vitality. I run with about 15.5 health, 15.5k health. And if you have too much health, healing power is less effective because it'll take more healing to get you to full health. And you can be using that vitality to toughness, which will make you harder to kill. So someone also asked if I use Dagger or Scepter Focus ever. Scepter's good for, I think, spike damage. You see a lot of Scepter Dagger builds in SPVP now, and they run a high damage kind of spike build. But I don't like it for World v World because AoE is too powerful for the daggers. And Scepter Dagger is kind of focused on on conditions a little more, and I think if you really want to be, I think it's really hard to make an Elementalist worthwhile with using conditions. And focus, I just really don't like at all. I think they have too long of cooldowns on the skills, and the skills are so it's a very niche weapon. There are a lot of people who live and die by the focus, but they're a dying breed, I think.
Oh yeah, my opinion of the focus was that once they, nerfed them against speed, it was, I threw away my focus.
Yeah, once they did that and then they nerfed like blocking treb shots with swirling winds, just no one carries a focus anymore, really. Yeah, focus isn't bad for running into Zergs, but again, this is Crystal Desert. We're not, the biggest Zerging force out there, so that's kind of why I went over the Dagger build, because Crystal Desert is a lot of, high mobility tactical strikes as opposed to, 50 people on one pin just rolling over people.
Well, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's how I like it too. So I think Daggers is just a fun build. I just like it all around.
Now to get to 80.
Yeah, leveling Ellie is a bit difficult. I recommend staff.
All you need is a good guild though, to run you through dungeons all day.
Yes.
I could outrun a
So if there
centaur.
aren't any more questions or anything, I want to thank you all for coming. And if you want, I'll be joining tier lists in World v World, and they'll be super happy to have 20 Elementalists come along.
Much harder.
So I'm going to go